Hey, bro.
Huh?
Let me ask you a question, man. Why you ain't change clothes, bro?
Let me ask you a question. Every time you see me, you gotta ask me a question like you 50 Cent asking people 21 questions.
But, bro, you gotta have some hygiene,
Let me
man.
ask you, did you take a bath last night?
Of course, and that's what I'm telling you, man. You gotta have some hygiene,
Well,
man.
congratulations, because I'm homeless and now I have the luxury to take a bath every night and wash clothes like that. So be grateful for what you got and stop always talking about people and stuff. That's what's wrong with people. They always talking about people instead of trying to help them and stuff. Just thank God that you able to take a bath and change your clothes every night. I might have them on the next day and the next day and the next day. That's between me and God. You worry about yourself. Any more questions?
You good,
Oh,
bro.
I'm right down what I thought. Have a blessed day.
Teach your man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
If you're tired of being censored on social media, join 60s.net. It's black owned, black operated, and black moderated, and we make sure it stays a safe space for us to talk about all things black culture. We also got some cool gear like the FDM cotton crew neck, the Fearless Ancestors tee, hats, and more. Check us out at 60s.net.
Hey girl, why are you so sad?
I just got banned from Twitter again.
Should have been on 60s.net. Ah.
Hey y'all, Greg Marcel Dixon here. You probably heard of me, candidate for South Carolina's 6th Congressional District. Yep, I'm that reparations guy, and I'm a Democrat. Now those may not be your key issues, but let's talk about some things that are important to you. Do you believe that the Second Amendment right of all law-abiding citizens should be protected? I am a concealed weapons permit holder by the state of South Carolina, and I will fight to protect your Second Amendment rights throughout this entire nation. But what about the right to life? You can believe that I will fight to protect all beating hearts. Do you feel that illegal immigration is a crime and should be treated as such, as we do with all crimes? So do I. So even though we may not agree on everything, I am sure we agree on a lot of the issues which are important.
All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially. And as you're coming in, please hit that like and share button, if you would, for me, please. And if you are wondering why you cannot participate in the chat, if you have not already subscribed, it's because you're not subscribed. So I would do that right now. Hit the notification bell, hit the word all. Then you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded. And as you can see, we are, doing our collaborative tribute to the purple one. So if you didn't know, we had some ties there from crew to crew. So some people know, some people don't. Put it to you like this. We never had any problems over the shirt. So this is the Doodle Funk logo. That's the funk face. Yeah. So when you see people do that, yeah. It's also our logo. That's one of them. If you see mine actually has a bloody tear coming out of the eye. But this, of course, is the print symbol. So without further ado, let's see who we got in the chat. And shout out to Brother Marcel. We're actually going to play, I'm going to play 3 of his ads tonight. And by the end of the night, you'll figure out why I will be kind of running a marathon of Brother Marcel Dixon's campaign ads. So without further ado, who's in the chat here? Nikki the God, the chief moderator in the house. Lawrence Lilly, Samuel Logan, Tasha Peters, Roderick Allen, Silent D Productions, One Who Cares, Velly Ray, Oyella Arquette, we are now officially international. Kid Gravity Beyond, Dark Skinned Brother, welcome. Kathy B, hey, Arquette in the house. Desmond Work, Shalom, my brother. You said you like this shirt? Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. My partner, Rashawn Muhammad, made this shirt, designed it. And actually, he's the one who also designed this logo and also my music logo as well. So, that's the MBZW Music. So you guys, as you wonder why you are sending PayPal to Zilla Music, that is why. So we have a few things to talk about today. We have to talk about this situation with reparations and all of these different entities that are coming into the mix to interject themselves into the conversation. A lot of people are trying to center themselves in our conversations, and they absolutely don't fit. So what they're trying now to do is shoehorn in a false narrative. But one of the things that we are seeing is shout out to Kid Gravity. Thank you, brother. And I was on Kid Gravity's broadcast last night. So if you were not able to see that, you should be able to tune back into that. Go like and subscribe that Kid Gravity and Beyond. That was a nice collab we did last night, and also tomorrow night. I guess we could go ahead and put that cat off the bag. We will be doing another. Not another. This will kind of be a first of a form of some of the smaller platforms of the new black media, having kind of a little confab live and direct on our platforms. So I believe this might be, depending on who all you follow, we all should be there, and I'm hoping that we can get it to where we can stream on all the individual platforms as well. That way, we can start integrating our audiences and getting everybody just hip to more of the other voices of New Black Media, especially as we are closing our New Black Media Appreciation Month. So it would be only fitting, and we are about at our sister. It's about our sister's birthday here in the. Yeah, we wrapping up the week. So yeah, next couple next day or two? I think it's the 30th. So who's that? Is that a full moon or new moon? Imagine that. Look at you, D. So shout out to D Tubman. It would be her trip around the sun, as well as we celebrate this movement that she has so very greatly been so majorly instrumental in. So shout out to D Tubman. And that's who I refer to as the chief administrator of New Black Media. Hands down. Hands down. So with that being said, let's look at this. Because I seen something that one of them posted. Let me see if I could read that. Unfortunately, I do not think I have that picture on here. So I'm going to have to read you the tweet. Let's see here. Where is it? So if you're, let's see, I guess that would be your left. Yeah, left. So the little Mexican dude, bottom left, he had this to say. It is impossible to say that you stand with black people and not support reparations for our community. Says Jesus Lugo. Now, Jesus, sir, I'm not so certain how you have found yourself to say us. Now, oh no, I'm sorry. Jesus is actually the one in the middle, next to the other one that clearly should not be in a conversation about reparations anywhere in America right now. But so Jesus is the one in the middle, right next to the Asian lady, right next to the Hispanic Tim Tebow. Like, shout out to Black Kid Gravity Beyond. Because that dude does look like a Hispanic Tim Tebow. Absolutely. So check it out. We have, this is what I put the other day. I posed this question. I didn't get much response, which is funny. It's a common question. Why can't black people get together? Well, there's your actual answer. And once again, the powers that shouldn't be have figured $30 million, and that's all that we know of. I'm sure it's more, and it will continue to be more, because we know they spent $30 million just for black targeted media. But what about the failed ventures that they tried to put out there to, again, combat the voices of new black media. Um, we're already seeing the big threes talking points hitting major airwaves. Of course, without ever mentioning any of them. So, they're not mentioning Tariq. They're not mentioning Jason Black. They're not mentioning Professor Black Truth. But yet and still, you are hearing. I mean, I'm telling you, like, if you all listen to the Moment of Truth from Professor Black Truth, if you are listening to the media, you can't tell me they ain't listening to him. You can't tell me they ain't listening to him. Please. I mean, Desmond Works. Matter of fact, yeah, happy birthday. Happy belated birthday, too. To you and your brother. Yeah, shout out to both of y'all. This is your birthday week as well. Yes, indeed. So, man, hope y'all have had a blessed go around. Seeing another year. You said you waiting for Tucker to call up Tariq about reparations. Kid Gravity, he don't want that. He ain't gonna do that. He has to. And see, here's the problem for Marcel. Well, not for him. When I say problem for Marcel, I mean the problem that everybody has with Marcel is that he is going to be very scary in a debate. Now, here's the thing. I know some people will take the approach to say, and especially they'll take the old Negro line. Black Magic, welcome. They're going to take that line, well, he's not experienced. True indeed. True indeed. I can't argue that he is not experienced. But the one thing that brings that's new is that he is definitely smart. He's already an educator. He's a great communicator. And he has the people's mind and hearts and needs at the forefront of his agenda. Not only that, a lot of his platform, it actually involves what most black folks have traditionally been raised to be: conservative. We've just been conservative Democrat because we go whichever way the wind blows as far as that's concerned. And that's been the history throughout our community. But with that being said, let's look at the scenario to which we face right now, to where the B1 space, the new black media, the black grassroots, the freedmen, you're hearing all of these names out here. Which is probably why somebody is right now majorly in their feelings. And if I don't mention certain groups, it's because I'm not part of those groups. So, there are other groups out there making noise. Shout out to them. They are definitely their own thing. And that's not to say, see, here's the thing. Them being their own thing does not nullify them from being black. But one thing we have to make sure we do is not get messages confused. You understand what I'm saying? So if somebody is, I guess, kind of new to the pro-black space, what a lot of people would used to call woke. Because right now in the media, woke is starting to mean something else while still meaning us. So you're hearing woke in a slight reference with LGBTQ. Here's the point that we are now making. Black just simply means black. It don't mean black and. It means black, period. Whatever you do after that is your personal business. But under this banner, the only thing going that you need to be is black. We don't need to break down semantics. I got one parent. We don't have to go with the Cynthia G philosophies. If there is something in your paperwork on one of them family members' sides, let's just call it a day and move on. Let's stop all the over semantical, because that is a personal issue. Let's deal with the business of empowerment. That's what we're talking about here. I know a lot of people out there might get me confused because they actually don't interact with me, but they interact with me via other people. Unfortunately for them, they have not actually got a real dose of who I am. I do not mix words and I do not bite my tongue. What you see is what you get. I am not a person who's going to turn into someone else. I hope you would kind of get that vibe from me. You know what I mean? I hope that much would be clear to see. So with that being said, you see show you this other madness. Because they're going to start throwing out all of these little different groups. You know, they're coming out the woodwork. Roderick Allen, what is going on, my brother? Peace. And this is the Cloutintelpro Era, using foundational Black American and New Black Media B1 talking points to cause confusion. Now let's look at this woman up here. Let's just look at this woman here. Ann Lesby, PhD. Now, I am I would say about 85% sure this is actually a troll account. However, this is not an irrelevant troll account. Why? Because this type of trolling is like the KKK / Jim Crow type of trolling. So it is putting a message out there under the guise of a joke, but it really is not. You understand what I'm saying? This is the crafty nature of what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a very experienced, a very learned, and a very wise system when it comes down to manipulation. Samuel Logan, welcome. You said definitely a troll account. Absolutely. But with that being said, look at what they're saying. Blackness, let's see, let me get off that because it's, gotta go in there. Let me see. I got to get that off the screen, don't I? Hold on, bear with me. Get that off. Okay. Blackness equals black skin plus correct beliefs. You cannot be black and a conservative. Now, what makes you think what is the reason that you think they would make that point? By the way, guess who follows that account? Anybody want to take a stab in the chat and see what black person would possibly be following that account? A blue check black person on Twitter. It is a blue check black person on Twitter that's following that account. And what's very interesting, no, not Mark, not Rolling. See, James Clyburn, look at where y'all went. Y'all went straight to the DNC. Typically, that would make the most sense. But see, there you go. Kid Gravity, there you go. Candace Owens. Candace Owens is a follower of that account. Now, for those of you who were just in the space with Tariq a little earlier, he jumped into space real quick. But he mentioned about Richard Spencer. Now, if you saw his tweet about how you keep hearing black nationalism and black nationalists, yeah. See, this is what's happening right now. They are fully aware that no either side is fooling us. So what they're doing is going full press with the white supremacist agenda against us. Okay, so this is what you're seeing. They're pulling out all the stops saying, hey, y'all, on the right and the left, we got to stop these Negroes over here. So I hope y'all seeing that. And one of the reasons being is this right here.
What you are looking at is a monument to Wade Hampton. Wade Hampton was one of the largest enslavers in the state of South Carolina, which was one of the largest slave-holding states. And yet, here on the Capitol grounds, there is a monument to him. If South Carolina wants to recognize and remember this period of history, then it is incumbent upon South Carolina and the United States as a whole to repair the damage that has come from this period in history. At the end of the Civil War, Black Americans who are descendants of American slaves, legislatively called freemen, were supposed to receive their 40 acres in a mule, and that never happened. Instead, they saw their black Wall Streets burnt to the ground. They experienced Jim Crow, they experienced redlining, which robbed them of billions in dollars of wealth. In order for America to heal, Black America has to be repaired. I am running to repair Black America because until we all stand, we all have fallen.
Yeah, we're going to keep it real simple tonight. So understand, what you're seeing right now is a lot of, there we go. You are seeing a lot of Cloutintelpro. Now, here's the thing, because New Black Media has set the dialogue and the tone of the conversation about our agenda without reserve or compromise, as well as we should. So we have to be very extremely vigilant right now going into this 2022 election season, because what we're saying and what we're doing has now all of a sudden got the attention of the powers that be, and they're spending money. They're spending money to combat new ideas. And you know what's so funny? When you used to hear people say, well, why don't y'all get a candidate then? And then why don't y'all run in? But what's your problem now? What's the problem now? What are you complaining about? Didn't you get what you wanted? You're seeing what you told us that you wanted, right? Yeah. You know, man, you know, when you actually get what you want or what you said you want, or maybe you just wanted to see it, if it could be done, and oh no. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I look at a lot of y'all like this challenge right here, because I'm sure a lot of people like y'all actually probably do behave like this or desire to behave like this.
Massa. Massa.
Oh boy, the Bad Winch Challenge. All right, man, that's cool. Real cool. Real cool. And in the midst, we have issues going on in our communities, and all they can say about us is crime, crime, crime. Like we're just naturally inherently criminal. Well, that's not necessarily true. You gotta be kidding. Y'all hear them dogs? Oh, Lord. Now, what they say about CRT. Well, we don't want these kids to feel like they're racist. We don't want them to feel like they're oppressors and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the truth. When you raise children like this, because we're in modern day age, clearly, either see here, it's okay, because for those of us who had to read, Huck Finn, it's mandatory reading in school. I know I did. If you came up in the era I did, you had to read that and Shakespeare. You could take your pick on whatever Shakespeare. You could even do the little footnote joint if you wanted to. But you had to take it nonetheless. And one thing about Huck Finn, and you know, now when they look back in their history of what they was forcing down our throats, was racist as hell, but they didn't give a damn because the only people being offended were little black children. So you could read a book and go to school and your classmates over here, nigger Jim, nigger Jim, nigger Jim. So happy as and gleeful as day. I mean, come on, man. Well, here's their kids.
Nigger, 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 nigger. He's gonna pick me a new outfit. Babe, my socks is kind of dirty. I need some new socks. Fucking niggers. Niggers. Nigger right now. Nigger.
And not only that, though, but those girls went further than length to make sure that they were even more racist and insulting and did blackface like you just saw in this picture down there. That's that school, the girls from that school in the video. So I hope everybody understands these are the little sadistic bastards that are running around with your children. And they say that they would feel some kind of way if they found out that the behavior that they're absolutely currently displaying is somehow going to harm them. So what does that tell you? That means that they want their children to grow up in a mental condition to oppress you. I would love to hear anyone really debate that fact. I wonder if I held a space and put that out, would any white person really come and try that? Would you try that theory? Because you can't troll. If I do a space, one thing for certain, it's going to be some order and some control in that month. Because I hear a lot of spaces, man. I'll be hearing people talking over everybody and whatnot. And one thing that I really can't stand, you don't like somebody who's about to come up. I don't need a buffer to know what this person is or this person ain't. I can get your opinion. But see, when you give your opinion, now I won't get them unadulterated because you won't shut up. I mean, you almost got me cussing because you won't shut your ass up. And I see it happen so much in these spaces. Somebody come up, oh man, this person, man, oh yo, I want to hear what this person has to say. It takes so long to get to somebody's point because this other nigga won't shut his fucking mouth. And I'm sorry, folks, I had to say that, but this is a shame. And we are looking like morons out here. What all this back and forth on these people's platform that you ain't getting paid off of? It'd be one thing if you were making money, but I mean, at least show that you can have some order. Like y'all all be arguing like children. I mean, man, I'm telling you, and then on top of this, I really can't stand seeing the whole, I don't like this person, so here, let this person be overtly disrespectful. And if this person say something, they gonna look like they threatening them. Man, I mean, if spaces went away tomorrow, I could give a damn. I'm telling you, it's getting outrageous. And we have serious issues at hand. I mean, bottom line is, unless I could really see a space on this level, either you talking about reparations, which at this point, which I said a long time ago, is a safe topic. I want to know who is publicly riding on white supremacy. Bishop Talbot Schwan is a Church of God in Christ preacher. What the hell are y'all doing letting this Jesus man bang on white supremacy more than you? And then come out here, we doing the work. Shut up. You're not. He is. You ain't. You is beefing and arguing, looking like grown damn children on the internet. Now, if you want to really show where it's really at, bring your ass to YouTube, start yourself a channel, and start giving your scholarship. So I know a lot of people have exception with how I see things. I don't believe there should be a bunch of young men under any woman my age. What you teaching them? Shouldn't they be up under men my age? Don't that make more sense? But hey, man, y'all have fun with that. Y'all have fun with that. That's got to be the most subliminal message ever. But hey, man, y'all be good with that. So anyway, back to important business. We have to look at this part. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Oh, y'all for real, oh, Yellow Cat, y'all letting the Jesus man, he go to church and preach about Jesus every Sunday, and he talk about against white supremacy more than y'all. Oh, man, no. No, y'all don't need to be screaming on anyone. What are you kidding? Now, I hope everybody understands what's happening here, because a lot of these people, and they're falling into these pitfalls, y'all. And unfortunately, these things have happened. So here's what you're literally seeing. Here's the breakdown of it. In some cases, large groups provide a place for people who aren't normally interesting to most people. And when spaces, or when the space provides the same said person with the mic, they can easily fall into the pitfalls of Cloutopia, where anyone who is great at over-talking while being a bad listener can be passed off as wise, because the spirit of wisdom clearly took a pass on all of them. I would not dare say that anybody is moving as an agent. I would just say people are moving in absolute sheer ignorance based on the Cloutopia effect. But understand what the agenda is at hand.
What would you think about a parent whose children are hungry? They let them starve. Likewise, here in South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the 6th poorest district out of 435 total as of the year 2021. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. You will never have to ask, where is Marcel?
All right, see, this. I hope I'm making a very clear message now. Again, not knocking anyone's hustle, but we just got to be careful, because see, at the same time, when somebody might have good intention, these people are never asleep. These people are always at work. So let me ask everybody in the chat and watching right now and watching the replay, has anybody ever heard of these people? Kid Gravity Beyonce, I see Africans. Man. Yeah. Anybody know who them people is? Oh, thank you, Tia, to you. Thank you so much. I've never seen them. Like, who are these people? Again, man, I'm telling you, $30 million, man. $30 million. They are for real. Do you understand the impact that we have made? Some kind of app that's coming out. And this is, he said, an app ran by low rent sorors. Or Soros. You know, when I seen that, and shout out to Sister Nordos, I believe is who posted that, brought that to my attention. Yeah, who? That looks like one of them things that they want to get you signed up for. I mean, I hate to be this guy, but why does it seem like Grandmaster J 2.0? It's like just another government situation, not necessarily saying he's government. I'm just saying, to me, suspect. But it's just something that you can give your information to. And then, of course, who really reads all of the agreements when you sign it into an app? So what is the agreement on that app? I would advise anybody who's going to be joining that one, better read that fine print. I mean, you better read that fine print for real. Oh, man. Because, man, they are coming out the woodwork. And it's getting worse. Yeah, let me play this. It's getting worse. It's getting really bad out here. And, you know, family, I got to say, unfortunately, part of this, we are to blame because we allow, you know, we have people that we know and they have somebody that they might be fond of, and we just let stuff go and be like, okay, well, we just gonna let them on over here. And then stuff like this happens. Yeah, let's go ahead. Woo, appropriation. Yes, get it. Oh, man, appropriation. Yeah, they doing our steps. Yeah. Get it, girls. Good grief. Lord. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's all bad out here. Now, I wanted to get those, well, I guess it ain't going to get any less funny, but this is a serious, fairly serious portion here that I want to address. Because I do have something serious to get into a little later. Let's go. Let's go here. Let's go ahead and get this one on out the way. Because we have to address when, you know, when Cloutopia hits. You understand? Oh, man, it hits hard.
What you're saying is that somebody got to try. No, they don't. Like, you don't have to try in the wrong way. There are ways to do this, but it's the hard way. There are ways to challenge people. There is a way to do a David and Goliath story, but man, it's hard. And some of y'all just don't want to admit that you don't want to do the hard work. Some of y'all just want to jump out and say, at least I tried. Child, if you want to try to climb the side of that mountain, what was the name of that movie? It's on Netflix. But if you want to try to climb the side of that mountain, go do it. But if you try to do it and you just trying something, you're going to fall off the side of it. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to be willing to stay in this thing for years. Now, Clobber might be dead by the time you come out of it. So what? Now you know what you're doing, and you can challenge. Now you know what you're doing, and you can still have the seat back. You can challenge whoever is coming against him. Like, it's not about...
reach out to somebody. Like, did you reach out to Marcel and get
I'm not reaching out to nobody. Listen. I was here. Listen, let me tell you something, Playboy. I was here long before all these people got here. I don't owe him nothing. I don't owe him nothing to reach out to him. He reached out to me. Did he reach out to me?
But are we going to help him?
Help him for what? I know he's going to lose already. Help him for what? I know how this book ends. Did Marcel ever help me?
At least to get him on the debate stage. So
I'm not getting him nowhere. Shut up. I'm not getting him nowhere. I don't owe him nothing. Did he ever ask to help me? The people who took all of my talking points, they ever asked to help me? Y'all are, listen, get off my line, Negro. Don't call here no more. Because these people here, they never asked to help me do nothing. These people here came and took talking points and ran off, and you're going to ask if I tried to help them. They never tried to help me, and I don't care. I don't need to help. Never asked to help me. Y'all know how this book ends. Did Marcel ever help me?
At least to get him on the debate stage. So
I'm not getting him nowhere. Shut up. I'm not getting him nowhere. I don't owe him nothing. Did he ever ask to help me? The people who took all of my talking points, they ever asked to help me? Y'all are, listen, get off my line, Negro. Don't call here no more. Because these people here, they never asked to help me do nothing. These people here came and took talking points and ran off, and you're going to ask if I tried to help them. They never tried to help me, and I don't care. I don't need to help.
Whoo! If Triggered was a person, Lord, alrighty. Okay then. All right, Yvette. Calm down. It'll be okay. Ooh-wee. So with that being said, we've just now heard 3 different ads from Marcel Dixon. And now we hear the very upset and angered, and let's just say it, flat out jealous, Yvette Carnell. Now, let's take a walk down memory lane, shall we? And let's see, because we fully understand that Marcel is a reparations candidate. Y'all ain't understanding, man. Let me put this back on the screen because I'm dead serious. Boy, this Cloutopia is I'm talking about, boy, this is like the real super drug that surpasses like that boy and that gambling. You dig? Like, this is the drug of ego. And when your ego got so on full tilt, when you was in your chopper suit, in your good overgrown off the rack pants looking like a man, I'm telling you, you was really feeling yourself ready to pop your collar and, pop your whip. So the energy of the Cloutopia, especially when, right before she was the only one to hold her space, and she on top, and she don't fool with this person no more, and she don't fool with that person no more. Everybody's stealing her talking points, right? Well, I wonder who all that she would be referring to. I know sometimes she would refer to a Tariq Nasheed. Sometimes she might be referring to a Professor Black Truth. She might even be referring to Jason Black. Or she could be, talking about the one who actually knew that she was still working for the DNC, and she blocked me right away. Because you're off code, Yvette Carnell, and you knew you was outed. So, hey. What did I say about when I played that Hillary Clinton video? Well, who was talking about down ballot? That's right, because see, how do you know somebody's tied into the DNC? Well, their verbiage will change based on the current candidate. Don't believe me? Oh.
Don't tell anyone that I am in favor of reparations, but reparations for me looks a lot like what Bernie Sanders defined. Reparations for me is massive investment in poor communities. And for me, the whole reparations for me looks a lot like what Bernie Sanders defined. Reparations for me looks a lot like what Bernie Sanders defined. Reparations for me is massive investment in poor communities. And for me, the whole problem with Ta-Nehisi Coates and what he did to me was really intellectually bankrupt. Because what he's asking black people to do is follow this kind of identity politics, this kind of black identity politics, and everything has to be about us being black people as opposed to everything being.
Now, did you catch that little part? Did you catch that little part? Because right now, there's a big, something just told me last night. Go just randomly search your YouTube channel outside of being signed in and just see what comes up. The weirdest thing, all of these things that are somehow now being associated with me, there's an interesting thing. Majority of the videos that were all of a sudden, that if you looked up beatzillapdx official, you got some other shit coming in there that ain't got nothing to do with me. But all of a sudden, these videos are like 24 hours old. It's like, how all of a sudden is this coming up in any type of algorithm with my name attached to it? You got some cat with a big old extendo sitting on it. He over here playing this thing like a guitar. Like, oh, no. I mean, no, I would never be doing anything like that publicly. I mean, what the hell? What I look like? You know what I'm saying? So I'm up here watching these videos, and I'm like, this is interesting. And then go down a little further. Lo and behold, who do I see? But a few videos of Antifa looking back at me. I ain't got nothing to do with them people at all. But subsequently, so I'm watching this move here. So with this whole black nationalist move, Richard Spencer, that whole point in calling Tariq Nasheed, I'm starting to look at this as, and I've been saying it, there is a think tank of Democrats and Republicans and all other kins that ain't liking FBA-akins. And they want to figure out how to stop whatever the hell we're doing. Now they need to come over here and figure it out. Now, if y'all, y'all been in them spaces with that other little weirdo that's, clearly ADOS and BLM. Well, now watch how these people start flipping. And then they start publicly talking about somebody that they were already down with. That's either rat talk or, for a man, that's just bitch made. But I mean, either way it goes.
About us being poor people, disproportionately poor. And he wants us to follow down that road, which really is a road to nowhere. It leads to a goose egg. The most interesting thing to me about what Ta-Nehisi Coates said in terms of how he defined reparations is that he never really defined reparations. And when you ask him about, hey, what does reparations look like and what is it supposed to be? He says, well, I don't have all the answers. Well, what you really don't have is an argument. You haven't defined reparations for yourself, but you're telling me that what Bernie Sanders has here doesn't go far enough. And I would ask, like he says, he said in a more recent piece, he says, black people have more concentrated poverty. Black people are even more poor than white people, than white poor people. That's who we are. Well, that's true. But that really guts his case. Because if you really know how poor we are as black people, then you know that, okay, cutting us a check ain't gonna get it. And what we need is real infrastructure and real investment from the government. Everything from.
Here's a problem. And see, if y'all been in them spaces with that, I'm telling you, man, every time I hear the demo shield line, I'm immediately blocking these people because I'm getting them out the paint early, man. And the need for that is people like this who you're watching go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum while never, ever actually going after reparations. And we started to talk. Right. And this is a movement, Yvette. See the difference? So while you talking, okay, well, there's a weed smoking dude down there. Why don't you get with your buddy, Roland Martin, since y'all speak, and, figure something out. Why don't you go down there and get with Gary Chambers? The cat's out the bag. We know y'all talk. So, I mean, go ahead, man. Now, we were going to leave y'all alone, but, I mean, geez. You're really jilted, aren't you? Well, one thing's for sure, I never outed you. You outed yourself. And now you are showing yourself to be just as much as an egomaniac as that sister said so many years ago when she sent all them screenshots when you were flipping out on her and flipping out on Sandy Darity for not really wanting to be down with your thing. So he said because I saw that. So what happened, unfortunately, he held y'all down for the one time I said, after this, then I'm going to be dipping. Deuces. I just don't like some things I'm seeing. And that's from this one right here. Ain't nobody lying on you, Yvette.
From healthcare, everything from free college education. I mean, when you look at Flint, Michigan right now, that's just perfect for me. You can't give black people a check for Flint and say, okay, just deal with your stuff. This is something that's going to take massive investment from the government to fix. And so the real
why would it not be a massive investment for the government to fix? Why wouldn't it be? I don't understand that thought pattern. Well. Actually, I'll tell you what. Her thought pattern does come from a place of swirling. So she has to always hold that other sentiment down. That one that we really don't even consider because it's irrelevant to the benefit of our community. So what we're going through right now is having people like this try to circumvent the reparations conversation. Why? Because now we're actually seeing she was just another wave of time wasters. And now her voice is irrelevant because she wasted nothing but time. And now she's screaming on everybody that says, now here's a point of redemption. I'm not going to drop this other name, but I will say this. If you are in a position to do something, like some people gather money for certain things, there's been 2 years of time that an online course of some sort can be put together. If you have money, you need to make sure you got your affairs in order with the state to run what you have been collecting donations for 13 years. When you do things like that and still have never even produced an online course, well, that's kind of losing credibility. And when you sit up here and say, we started the conversation and we brought all of these outsiders into our meetings and they were in our conference and we still haven't got anything done and FBA stole our talking points, but FBA actually got a lineage-based past reparations. It's a study to figure out distribution. So right there, it sets a precedent because California goes, so the rest of the country goes. So what people do not want you to see is the fact that they've been total frauds all this time. They had no concern for getting nothing. Now, right now, she's talking about, why would you waste the energy? What are you talking about? The hell are you talking about? That is the mind and sound of a quitter. What the hell can she lead you to win? She's already defeated. Man, can't do it. But this look, the white man's ice is so much colder. His idea is better. Good
real
grief.
intellectually bankrupt part of Coates' argument is that he doesn't define an argument for himself other than say, you know what, black people are really, really poor. And, you know, socialism doesn't go far enough. This sort of socialism stuff doesn't go far enough. Well, that's really not good in terms of a salient argument, is it? If I say that this doesn't go far enough, it goes very far, and you haven't defined how it should go further. The only thing you've really said, and the only thing Ta-Nehisi Coates has said is, he says that this sort of socialist politics does not vanquish racism. Those were his words. Well, my response would be, nothing vanquishes racism, and we shouldn't be concerned with vanquishing racism. I'm not concerned whether or not the white guy across town loves.
Thank you, Yvette. You know what? I didn't catch that till just now. Just dawned on me. Damn. You know the other money that was collected off the bodies of dead black children and dead black men and a few sisters by way of Black Lives Matter? Well, one of their largest benefactors was the person to whom socialist plans she was just riding for. Now, let's go back. Let's check this out again. I mean,
what you're saying is that somebody got to try. No, they don't. Like, you don't have to try in the wrong way. There are ways to do this, but it's the hard way.
There's ways to do this, but this is the hard way.
That I am in favor of reparations, but reparations for me looks a lot like what Bernie Sanders defined.
All right. And so did y'all catch that? So as much as she can go ahead and talk all of this jive, no, ma'am. And I mean, you talking about a person who ain't said nothing in like 2 years. But you gonna do this? I would shut up. Sassy. As you know what they say about old Beatzilla? He gives up. Know that. I mean, so look at here. What you're doing is, and you're seeing this, you're seeing a lot of these shills unravel. And I'm going to show you how undedicated to the community that these people are, because I'm about to show you something that none of these pieces of crap have ever desired to put any energy in, unless they can throw somebody that looks like myself, or a Kid Gravity, or a Samuel, or a dark-skinned brother, or a Silent D, or, you know what I'm saying? Unless they could target some anger and bad negative energy to, because again, remember, propaganda works in a few ways when you're targeting somebody for extinction. But you have to be wise not to be that tool. I would like to see young men being taught how to be wise versus taught how to be screamers. My son, the same age is a lot of them people off up in them spaces that can't seem to let nobody get a word out and think y'all doing something. Do you know when you are really actually burning somebody mentally? When you let them speak and then you dismantle what they say. But y'all so over emotional, y'all can't even let nobody finish a sentence with it. Oh man, well this person gonna come up here and start lying, y'all. You know how you look? Jeez. Like, yeah, and again, let's go back to the Jesus man. Y'all sitting over here letting the Jesus man talk and bang on white supremacy more than y'all. And y'all are supposed to be the young fiery ones. One thing is for certain, and I guess that's a new thing we learned. There's a new wave of hey man, the playing field for Cougars out here has changed, ladies. So you too. It is, hey man, if you 45 and better, it is by far not over for you. There is some young, dumb 22-year-old that is ready to be ran. And all you got to do is tell him that everybody else is a beta male and you got him. Good Lord, y'all ain't never been up under no game. Oh my God. And y'all in there thinking y'all got game. Let me tell y'all, I'm from the West Coast and my file is not hard to find. So when y'all sitting up there, right up under there, somebody who's right off of this I-5 corridor, trust me. She know what she doing to y'all. She know exactly what you're doing to y'all. I did not even know that until then. Yeah, please. Okay. Let me just tell you like this. Out here, man, between like Portland and the Bay, it's a lot of game. And from up Seattle, a lot of game. LA, lot of game. But it ain't just the men. Woo! Oh boy. Well, I've given my little piece of advice. Believe it or not. Crash and burn on your own. So, we have to look at these individuals out here. Here's another, oh God. Here's another one who's upset. Oh, yeah, I already got that in the studio. Let's see. And then here's another thing that I'm sure people were missing because they were probably busy talking over each other, so they didn't. Because when you're busy talking over each other all the damn time, you really do not have the opportunity to research content. Shout out to all the new black media and all the content creators that actually create content. And thank you for those of you who have regurgitated what I say and then go pass my words off as your own. I just hope that those people find their ways to this platform so where they can get pure, unadulterated reality and stop trolling me in my inbox. So, no man should be that desperate for another man's attention. It's hella moist. Anyway, here's another problem. Here's another woman who has a problem. Sebastian Shaw, what is going on, my brother? Another woman who has a problem because basically, understand, the grassroots, we are tuned out of that old congressional black do nothing caucus. And we are promoting a man who is black, but also has conservative views, which, not that I don't live in Florida and I ain't a fan of racist Klan man DeSantis. Because he's gearing up to run for president, if you didn't know. While everybody over here talking about Trump. What are you kidding? Man, this man is about to run for president with the governor of Texas as his running mate. What the hell are y'all looking at? See, Trump is oh God, stop being political infants, family. I mean, look at the real game for what it is. It's chess, not checkers. They're not looking at and even if Donald Trump wanted to come back, trust me, he'll be sabotaged. That ain't happening. Anyway, you need to be looking at DeSantis. And just like this kind of energy will tell you that this is a problem because the Democrats are feeling that the grassroots are pulling away from that liberal agenda. You are no longer going to be able to smokescreen other agendas on our backs. So that means everyone has to hold their own nuts. And if their issue is legitimate, then get them their money. But you best get ours first. And while you sitting over here with our name on your group and our name on why you're even in a position, We going to see something. Well, get your ass up out of there. And Val Demings is over here crying because DeSantis done signed that bill into law and trying to get these people up out of there. I thought he was going after Frederica's joint. But, I mean, I could care less. Either Frederica or Val Demings. I don't care. You ain't doing nothing for black folks. And I really wish when you guys start getting your asses tapped by the real system of white supremacy, which we've been fighting all this time, stop trying to act like you care about racism now. You look ridiculous. Y'all look ridiculous, and we don't trust y'all. Period.
How about we don't have to accept somebody who does not believe in extending temporary protection status to people who are fleeing from an inhumane environment? No, we don't have to. Accept that, and we're not going to accept that.
Yeah, she told you. Why is she so sassy with it though? She hella angry, is she? What you mad at? Because ain't nobody coming to the rescue and the black Floridians ain't giving a damn? Because you are really pretty much throwing them under the bus anyway, because every time you talk about them, crime, 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 crime. You think their families is rushing out to go vote for you now? No, their families about to be doing federal time. So guess what? It works in their favor to get a Republican back in office because that's most pressure for clemency. Now, you see, here's one thing that also shows the shift, and this is another reason why they're angry, is because the energy shift is out of their control. And so they're trying to figure out which type of way they do. And here's the problem. When people are thinking for themselves legitimately, you can't. That's the whole point. I always wanted people to take their own damn power back because these people should not have this much control over you. And why would you want them to? These people don't have your best interest at heart. And my last broadcast, what did I show you from good old Barack Obama? What did he say? He told you about this experiment on over 1 billion people. 1 billion. And people just told us how dumb we were for not listening to them. People push something on us that, just common sense say, oh, we know better than that. Y'all need to stop bringing up Tuskegee. I don't have to bring up Tuskegee. I just have to bring up my existence in America, which is enough to tell me anything you pushing on me, telling me it's good for me is not. It just simply is not. And so here's another woman out of Florida who's crying and complaining about DeSantis and this. And see, here's my problem. Hey, this is how this works. When you say, black people, vote for me, I'm going to represent your issues. Then you get your ass in there and you represent black people's issues. Here is the day of reckoning. You spent 40 plus years, 20 plus years in your various different seats and have done nothing. Time is up in 2022. So cry and complain all you want to, but it is 1, 2, 3 Cancun for you.
Marginalizing our voices, we'll just be invisible here. You talk about Asian hate, you have no idea. You've never been enslaved. Have you ever been a slave? No. You talk about the Asian hate, which I agree is bad. It's nothing like what black people have gone through. And we built this city, and now we're being pushed out. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And like Brenda Barrow said, if you run for office, we're going to make sure you don't. And I'm going to make it my business to make sure each and every one of you are on the newspaper Monday morning. And we're going to do a march. We're going to march because you guys brought city government down, because you guys had a fix-in. You're corrupt. I don't care what you say. This whole process was corrupt. And shame on San Francisco.
Interesting. Finish. Here's more.
State House also signed off on a congressional redistricting plan. Democrats are
Sorry.
State House also signed off on a congressional redistricting plan. Democrats are furious, and many planted themselves actually in the center of the chamber in protest. Orlando Representative Geraldine Thompson joined in. She said via a voicemail that Republicans allow the governor to draw his own map and eliminate black opportunity districts. Here's part of her recording.
It feels like we're back in the civil rights movement. We're trying to talk collegially with people who just don't want to listen.
It is my belief and your belief that no member of this chamber has the opportunity to shut down our process, to shut down a job that people of the public and the people of Florida have asked us to do.
The plan is now headed to the governor. Looking locally, Congressional District 10 is currently held by U.S. Congresswoman Val Demings, who's leaving that seat to run for Senate. That district would see its black voting population decrease.
Right. Black voting. Voting. Vote, 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 vote. Well, again, here's something that maybe might interest your vote, unlike Yvette Carnell. Well, let's just revisit that again.
Are ways to challenge people. There is a way to do a David and Goliath story, but man, it's hard. And some of y'all just don't want to admit that you don't want to do the hard work.
Hey, Yvette, it is hard. And some people are just that rough and tumble to romp with the band. Don't you understand? Not everybody's a coward like that cream puff you got beside you that didn't even stand in his own state's way. Where was ADOS in these meetings? Because most of us were there. We're over here watching these meetings proceed, and we ain't here phone calling in. You didn't even call in. You could have. Other people called in who didn't live in California. So, I mean, you could have called in and gave your perspective, leader. But ain't none of them called me. We started the conversation of reparations. You started the conversation of reparations that Andrew Johnson gave to the slave owners who had just recently lost their slaves. You know, that's reparations. So, no, you were not the one who brought it up. That is ridiculous. And even in modern day era, no, you not. Maybe these youngsters might know better, but no, we know. We old enough. We the same age. You're a damn liar. You started the conversation on reparations. When? Are you kidding?
Y'all just want to jump out and say, at least I tried. Child, if you want to try to climb the side of that mountain, what was the name of that movie? It's on Netflix. But if you want to try to climb the side of that
it's called Buck Broke Mountain. In the midst, and when I say buck broke, I mean buck broke, because you got tone. Here's another prime example. Another prime example. I mean, so let's keep it that well. And in the meantime, South Carolinians, make sure you get out and vote. Because this, if you are just now tuning in and don't understand why that woman is so upset, this is why.
What would you think about a parent whose children are hungry? They let them starve. Likewise, here in South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the 6th poorest district out of 435 total as of the year 2021. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. You will never have to ask, where is Marcel?
All right. I'm over here looking at the chat. Silver Tulip Buguines. Hey, Aboriginal woman. Yeah. So, and that's why she is mad, y'all. That's why she is mad. Some chick named Star, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, good to see y'all in the house tonight. And for those of us who have watched this thing for a few years, here's the thing. What does Yvette have to lose by supporting Marcel? Like, oh, has he reached out to me? That is the most jealous thought process ever. Lord. And okay, let's just take a flashback.
I need more than empathy. Empathy doesn't get them out. You understand? So if we can get to that place and understand what politics is, I think we can move forward with an agenda.
Well, it's just before you continue. What about the lion that takes down the antelope and then a squirrel sees the lion? Well, tell me about that.
Well, one of the things I said on the show, and I use an analogy, I said, somebody else on the show, a caller said, well, we don't understand the terrain. We don't understand where we are. We think we're in the desert and we're actually in the forest. And I said, it's worse than that. We're not only in the desert and we think it's the forest. We think we're something that we're not. So you see a lion chasing an antelope. And that's because the environment, not that lion is better than you, the environment has made that person or that thing, that animal, a lion. So poop, you a lion, right? That thing used to be something else, but poop, it's a lion now. And it's chasing an antelope, and you a squirrel. Not because you made yourself a squirrel, but that's what that environment, it's almost like a magic environment, because that's what government did. It made some people lions and some people squirrels. That's what it created. This isn't something that just happened. You know, the do-for-selfers would tell us, well, you made yourself into a squirrel. No, we didn't. There were policies, systemic oppression. We built the country. You built the country and you can't go. So now you can't get into Harvard, but you built Harvard. You can't go Ivy League, everybody, because people of color are there going Ivy League, but you can't go Ivy League and you built school. And so you're a squirrel because something has made you smaller than that lion and less powerful than that lion. But you look out there and you say, I'm about to take down this antelope just like that lion. He did the same thing. I'm going to run that way. I'm going to hit that curve. And I see how he went. You see how he did that? And you're talking to another squirrel. And y'all both like, yeah, we're about to do it. And you don't understand who you are and who you've been made to be. And so you have to say, no, I'm not doing this no more. Running around looking for nuts and scrounging when I built everything. And
okay. Well, then what's the problem with supporting Brother Marcel Dixon for Congress? I mean, I'm not understanding. You were for reparations, or was it that you were only for reparations in the manner to which Bernie Sanders wanted it, handed it to us? Because you fight with, you got a whole argument to why that makes sense. But now that he's saying something and you're saying lineage based and all of this, your feathers are ruffled. Why though? I thought this was all about reparations, right? Or is this just simply about something else? And we can revisit that. Cloutopia. Unfortunate, but true. So many people have fell into the pitfalls of cloutopia. And, you end up looking some kind of way when that happens, just like people like this. And if you are unfamiliar with the Juneteenth celebration down there that I'm sure it was making waves on Twitter. From what I have heard, that little event down there in Little Rock, Arkansas has now been canceled. As well as it damn well should be, because that don't make no damn sense. You understand? That was just silly. I mean, that's just silly. But one thing I want to go back to what Yvette was talking about the lion, and the lion gets the rabbit. And, come on, man. Here's one thing. You have a group of lions out on the hunt, and now you're saying, well, yeah, I don't think he can win. He could very well win. Of course, he could lose. One thing is for certain. If he doesn't run, he's guaranteed to lose. So she sounds like she doesn't even want a person running. Maybe this is why. When your ego has got you so souped up, when you are a stone cold stunt stud, to tell us, oh yeah, you know, I'm your mama. Boo Guinness, what's going on? I'm your mama, y'all. And y'all just taking little bits and pieces of my talking points and running with them. Well, one thing that we don't do, Miss Yvette, is we don't besmirch the dead. The dead master teachers at that. Because you're feeling some kind of way. Oh, in the meantime, you know, this is something that a topic you are not going to hear in a Twitter space. So I'll help you out right here.
A food shortage here at home, but we are acting to bolster food security around the globe, both unilaterally and in conjunction with allies and partners.
So our people are really paying no political attention. If you haven't noticed, they're now saying there is no more pandemic. All of a sudden, there is no looming food shortage here. All is well. I guess they couldn't afford. They got to figure out which disaster could they afford. And it looks like the one that they can't afford is Negroes not doing what they want them to do. So, well, lo and behold, pandemic's over. Funny how that worked. Now, if only we can get people to use their damn vote like they could use their voice. That's the one thing I would like to see. If you're going to use your voice like that, let me see you use your vote. Because let's keep it a buck. Majority of them niggas voted. You can get in there and talk all that jive you want to. Ain't followed none of the big three. Oh, we be one. You follow Jason Black? Who? Well, Tweak the Sheet. Oh, yeah, I know who he is. Professor Black Truth. Who? But be one, black first, man. Oh, you off code, man. You off code. Well, what code you on? Because for the people who actually made it, and you know, I'm seeing people bringing out all kind of different stuff. Now, if you watch my last broadcast, I did a very clear piece on Stokely Carmichael because I think people are confused. They all believe that, you know, I've heard people basically allude to the sentiment that foundational black Americans are basically the only black folks ever, which is freaking insane. But, oh yeah, I guess that reminds me. I guess I do have to play something else too, don't I? But yeah, no looming food shortage. And you had a bunch of people coming on here to tell you to get this, and tell you to get that, and maybe you should consider doing this. If you don't do this, then your people will be in jeopardy. Well, shout out to everyone who has been absolutely healthy throughout this entire time without they shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I just got to say, some of y'all is acting a little different out here. And some of the things y'all are looking to do are quite odd. Here's one example.
And I am a second grade teacher at Marsha P. Johnson.
Whoa, wait, let me go back at the name. Ouch.
I am Miss Wilcox, and I am a second grade teacher at Marsha P. Johnson Elementary School in Berkeley, California, and I had a really upsetting experience today. Today I heard one of my students, his name was Kyle, go figure, say to
Why the hell are you outing children? Because your feelings are hurt. See, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Punk shit. And we're in a world that condones suckers like this. And you gonna come around, Wilcox. Who cares? You identify whatever way you want to. Why are children who ain't teenagers worried about, and you're feeling offended? You're bringing your grown adult egotistical jargon to children? Where are the parents of my generation? The parents that would go up to school and things would change. You understand?
another student, "Oh, I love that Miss Wilcox. She's so funny." I had to take Kyle aside and calmly explain to him, "Kyle, don't you remember when Miss Wilcox sent out the memo to all students last week that her pronouns had changed to they, them?" And then Kyle said, "But Miss Wilcox, you're a Ukrainian trans lesbian. Don't you go by she, her?" But Miss Wilcox, you're a Ukrainian trans lesbian. Don't you go by she, her? And at this point, I'm trying my best to keep my patience and not, a kid.
Why is this person around children? And I'm not saying because of their sexual preference. I'm saying because their instability and their lack of maturity to be around anyone's kid without having such an attitude to out a little child. His name was Kyle. The hell is wrong with this person? What's wrong with they? What's wrong with they over here, man? They over here is tripping, ain't they? Damn, they is tripping hella hard. Come on, Nate.
So I had to very calmly say, "Okay, Kyle, the reason I changed my pronouns to they, them was to represent more intersectionality." And then Kyle said, "What's intersectionality?" And then I was like, I can't with this kid. I was so tempted to just, so.
All right, here's a second reference to violence and clearly identifying a child. So because a child is not accepting, no, let me back up. The children have already accepted this. So they have accepted looking at this as the norm. But that's not good enough. And you want a parent to subject their child to someone who is this irresponsible, clearly not a parent. And because of how they feel, my children should be indoctrinated with whatever the hell this weirdo is talking about. Yeah, we come from a different lane. I'm cut from way more of a different cloth than that. So, I mean, the whole fact of even pushing that, you don't get your, come on, man. For real, though? And you gonna tell me this shit makes sense? How? Oh, well, it gets worse. It gets worse because, sisters, I've told you in this broadcast, even Boo Guinness is co-signing this factor. Some of these mission women Might be for some of these healthy uteruses that you're carrying around on you in your pocket. And we're going to talk about that part after this, because if y'all remember, there was a tweet the other day. It was a Clubhouse space about how black women, and it specifically mentioned black women do not need their uteruses. They should give them to trans women. Well, I don't know. Where's my Texas family at? We got to talk about some things going on in the state of Texas. And that's going to be the unpleasant part of this conversation, because I don't know why the hell I'm in this city, not close to Texas, and I'm looking at this like, yo. And I've been hearing, like, don't get me wrong, there's people who are out here, people in the new black media have long been ringing the bell, and black Twitter ringing the bell on these missing black women. But I'm just, there's a recent uptick in missing black women in Texas, and they're all like the latest one that I found is 8 months. But just in what I was looking at today, within the last, I'll say within the last couple months, there's like 4 missing sisters, man. While you got D. Snyder over here looking, trying to threaten children.
Well, I just had to walk away at that point. But tomorrow, Kyle is going to get a lesson on intersectionality along with a pop quiz.
But you don't want our children. See, okay, let me put this in perspective for you. This, to what you see on the screen. This right here is white privilege at its finest. He failed as a man. And now, I mean, because let's be clear, he's not really seriously trying to be a woman. He's just trying to be non-binary, which whatever is going on in his mind. The fact that no one is saying that this is abnormal. If you were a normal, natural born woman and you walked out of your house looking like that, then people in them white jackets and white pants is going to come have a nice little conversation with you while your family is telling you, go ahead with the nice men. No, it's good for you. Go on ahead with the nice men. I mean, you understand me? He said, please, no close-ups. Oh, man, I'm telling you, man, we got some weirdness out here, man, that people just want to impose on us. I'm sorry. You ain't putting this shit on my children, man. I'm cool. I'm cool on that. No, I'm going to push back against that. And see, again, that's not being homophobic or transphobic. That is being a responsible parent. And then what's so funny is you always have so many people who never have any children telling you what you should be doing with your kids. Like, you ain't never had to care about another life in your life other than your cat. Shut up. Cat can take care of itself. So can a dog. Go ahead and get that baby. See what that's like. It's nothing like the same. Oh, well, you're in a potty train. It ain't nothing like the same. You ain't got to put up no gates for no pet. You ain't got to worry about getting all of your products from under the sink or locking them up. Make sure those are locked. No, you don't have those worries. Because your cat ain't going to worry about, what's in this bottle? Because he ain't twisting off no top of bleach. But guess what? The little 2-year-old's little hands, if they good and strong enough, and we already know they overly curious. Bloop, 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 bloop. And before you know it, bloop, 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 to the hospital. Yeah, problems you don't have with dogs and cats. But it's like the same. No, the hell it is not. you ain't never gonna spend as much money on your dog or your cat. And if you have girls, I got sons, they're still expensive as hell. If you got girls, forget about it. Yeah, we know you stupid. It's like anytime I hear that. Pookie, damn it, Boogie. Oh, looking like the corpse bride. Oh, oh, oh man, oh man, oh man. Looking like something out of, what is that, the House of 1,000 Corpses? That's just how weird that is. Like, what's wrong with dude, man? Like, any woman who was wearing makeup like that, y'all gonna be like, "You okay? You okay, baby? Are you all right?" I mean, because wouldn't you ask? Yeah, I'm not sure everything all right over there, you know. But you know, nonetheless. Let's see where we going next. I gotta play this real quick. And again, here's another issue with why Marcel Dixon is such an issue. Is because, you know, for those all who have been following the brother, you are well aware that he is of the alternative lifestyle. So he's LGBTQ, but he is black first. And here's another misnomer, which, you know, people don't seem to think. Like y'all act like there's not gay conservatives. It's like, shoot, my cousins and them, they're not really liberal. They kind of ride the line on conservatives. I mean, growing up in black communities, whatever you doing, you still going to have some certain things that are just going to be inherently related to conservative ideas. Which, when you have that weirdo woman coming out, which I do think is a troll, talking about how black people can't be black and be a conservative. First off, you don't tell us what the hell we can be. Because we can be all that we want to be, and that ain't up to you to determine. So, you know, you go ahead and keep your identifications to yourself, Karen. Because we are not to play toys and play dolls. I know that you have heard the stories passed down in your families of how you and your great this used to play with their little niglet friends and used to play, you know, ride on the, play horsey with the butler and the bucking bronco with the field hand and, you know, oh yeah, and the old Uncle Ruckus. Uncle Ruckus on the planet. He was just the old happy Negro. Looking like Uncle Remus from Song of the South. And, you know, for those of y'all who don't know, that Zippity Doo Dah Day song was originally written by, I think, like, one of the writers was, who was known as, was Johnny Rebel. If y'all seen that Boondocks cartoon about Jimmy Rebel, if y'all look up Johnny Rebel, that's who that was after. And yeah, he absolutely did exist. And he's the one who sang the theme for Old Yeller, by the way. My grandfather hated that man. My grandfather, he turned that Old Yeller off. Like, we could not watch no Old Yeller, man. Now, when I was little, we turned that off. Dukes of Hazzard, you know they don't like you. Turn that off. I had a Dukes of Hazzard car. My grandfather was like, he can't bring that over here. And I'm so glad for that because, whoa, boy, oh boy. Just some things we wasn't meant to let go. So hell no, you're not bringing that Confederate flag off up in my house. Yeah, it's on TV, and that was another trick. Dukes of Hazzard, making the Confederate flag cool for niggas. Because what are we looking at? We watching the car jumping over cars and jumping over this. Woo, car jumps. with a big old Confederate flag on it, boy, to just say a big old flying middle finger every time that thing jump. Woo-hoo. Screw you, nigga. Every time. I mean, we just so young, we didn't see it. You know what I mean? But damn. Man. He said, keep making mine move, Soldier Man. Right on, Felly Ray. Telling you, some chick said Dukes of Hazzard had that Confederate flag on the car. Man, the General Lee. The freaking General Lee. I mean, it was. I'm telling you, he said, my parents, man, fam, me too. That's why I said my grandfather was like, yeah, you ain't bringing that 12 here. You can bring that Tonka truck. But that thing going to stay home. It's like, that's one of my favorite toys. Like, I can't bring this over here. Like, nah. You need to tell him. It's like, well, he's just a kid. You know they don't like you, right? No punches pulled in this family, man. I don't know where you come from. I grew up where, like, and a lot of people was like, your grandma racist. And my grandma didn't allow white people in her house. It's my upbringing. My grandma, no white man crossed that threshold. Hell no. You can stand on the porch. The only white man that I can recall that was ever in that house were one of the contractors when they redid the kitchen. But other than that, nope. You said your dad didn't need a silver tulip? Smart man. Oh, man. He said, so glad we got each other and we don't have to do all of that overlooking the agenda anymore. Oh, my. Thank you. Oh, my. Don't it? Do you know if I travel anywhere, if I flew to Dubai from here, which would be about 26-hour flight, you don't have a layover in like Prague or some shit, you are able to literally watch New Black Media non-freaking stop. We're in such a different time and situation. That's what they just are pissed off at. I mean, there's so much strong content. Thin thanks and shout out for all of you who do that great work of uploading those old lectures from our master teachers and elders. Shout out to all of y'all who've been doing that because, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. This is just nothing but powerful Black knowledge that can also, we can go back to, and like I said, we look at what was successful and we also look at what wasn't. And then that way we can move forward and accordingly, but we moving with a great start. A great start. And I mean, man, one generation out of slavery, them niggas was balling. You took illiterate people off a cotton field and was able to go turn a buck and make it happen. How you do that? So we are an exceptional people by far, hands down. So we got to make sure we maintain the standard of being these people because we are. We have allowed ourselves to fall into the pitfalls of slumming. Typically, when you look at slumming, it's usually used as a reverse term, but it should not be because truth be told, we are the moral superior. And we can own that one. You know how? All we can say is just look at your past. And let's see how you corrected it to make a better future for who you harmed. Well, you're out. Looks like we're sitting by ourselves, aren't we? Because everybody else around the world took part in all oppression. Y'all made a little bit of cash, didn't you? While you still over here trying to front on ours. And now that you see we trying to get ours, everybody's FBA. And if you're not FBA and you still have that strong ass accent that you can't shake, your only other thing is to either try to shame us or insult us into accepting you as part of us when you have nonstop crapped on us. Some of us are old enough to understand what was going on in Sugar Hill, because a lot of us were actually living it for real anyway. So a lot of us experienced that. They wasn't fooling with us, man. You know what I mean? They was not fooling with us. So I want y'all to understand, another thing that we got out here is, again, when I say feminism, and especially black feminism, Gloria Steinem and the CIA. Let's look at the grandchild of feminism, y'all, and the first generation offspring of intersectionality.
This poster that I have, because I hear a lot of pro-lifers say that life begins at conception. So my poster reads, "Life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies."
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus.
Is it living?
No.
How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus...
This is where these people start going way off the damn rails. Okay, when is, because her question said, okay, well then what is it? It's a fetus. Well, is a fetus not living? Well, no. I mean, it's like an acorn. Like an acorn's not living. Acorn is a fruit. A fetus is a future human being. And I myself never subscribed to that devilish line of a heartbeat not representing life. Do you know how idiotic you got to be to even buy that line of bullshit? I mean, you are morally bankrupt if you have subscribed to that. You are absolutely morally bankrupt if you subscribe. Anybody who went, because you knew you heard that heartbeat before you smoked your kid. So get out of here.
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it, because it's living. It's living.
Yeah.
You're fundamentally denying science to validate your opinion.
You actively deny science, ma'am.
How am I?
Okay. I'm gonna play that one more time because I want you, for the sake of, listen to this woman's arguing tactic. Now, so you heard what she said. She sounds like a freaking nut job. But let's go back and listen to the tactic she's using in speech. Let's rewind that and let's peep that out. Let's peep this game, because for those of y'all who have been in spaces, you're gonna hear a lot of black voices talking just like this.
I just want to read you this poster that I have. Because I hear a lot of pro-lifers say that life begins at conception. So my poster reads, "Life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies."
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus.
Is it living?
No.
How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus become living?
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it, because it's living. It's living.
How about you let her speak?
You're fundamentally denying science to validate your opinion.
You actively deny science, ma'am.
How am I?
Okay, especially this last part. Now watch, this woman came at her with the logical truth. You were denying science to prove your point. Watch what this person does.
You're fundamentally denying science to validate your opinion.
You actively deny science, ma'am.
How am I?
All right. Y'all seeing that? Y'all hearing that often, aren't you? Oh, no, you doing that. No, see, I'm not denying science. You're denying science. So then you start getting this person who is clearly unlearned because she didn't know what she was talking about. She knew what talking points she had to get off. But being passionately invested in that, she had nothing to give. That's why I do this. That's like an acorn being a tree. That analogy is absolutely awful. And I would have to assume you're a college student. So now I know you're just full of crap. But they call themselves high IQs. Don't make me laugh, dark-skinned brother. I'm saying, man. Hey, I'm up here. Oh, yeah, well, is it living? No. Did you hear all the other women in the background? No. Ladies, there's something. When you hear that little thing, when you're going to go and find out if this is real or not, and put the little thing up to your belly and whatnot, there's a sound that comes from the machine. It sounds a little something like this. That is the sound of a pulsating, very strong heartbeat. Why? Because that is a living being. If the devil, the deceiver, told you that which was created and conceived within you is anything other than a living part of you, then he has lied to you. You have fell for his deception, and you have blood on your hands by allowing yourself to fall in that deception. Now, that can either be here nor there for so many people. And again, that's no judgment or indictment on anybody. I'm not saying you're a bad person, this, a bad person, that. That is just my opinion on that, because I look at things in reality. I understand how people feel. Not my problem. Not my problem. Last thing I give a damn about is popularity. This is about agenda, and we are about the business of empowerment. So, we're going to have to start looking at this stuff here. Let's see. Let's go here first, because now we have things, and I hope these people who are thinking a lot of other conversations are important, I would just hope that you take things very carefully in what you're doing, and make sure that when you speak properly and in order. Because what I say by that is, you shouldn't be in any space to where somebody is labeling you a hate group. Now, you're always going to have haters, but I'm talking about all of this over aggressiveness that be going on. Oh, well, you can pull up, man. When y'all doing that, I don't know what the hell y'all be thinking. But they're going to send a lot of crash test dummies in here to incriminate yourselves. And y'all thinking nothing of it now. Of course you are, because there's no immediate repercussion. Man, remember whose shit you talking on with all that y'all doing. Remember whose platform that is. I'm going to just say that. If I got to explain more than that to y'all, please do not relate yourself to New Black Media.
South Florida man who was served 32 years behind bars, will soon be free. Our own crime specialist Bridget Matter sat down with Thomas Raynard James in prison just last week.
He was given a life sentence for murder in Coconut Grove in 1990, but after a review of his case, he's being released.
And today, State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle held a news conference about that case.
Bridget joins us live from Miami with the update. Bridget.
Well, Thomas James, his conviction and sentence was just vacated. He's officially an innocent man. We are now just waiting for him to be processed so he is officially free. This is video of Thomas Raynard James and State Attorney Catherine Rundle. They held a press conference to announce vacating the life sentence of Thomas James. He was convicted in 1990 of a robbery and murder. The state's case relied largely on Dorothy Walton's eyewitness testimony. I sat down with Thomas James in prison last week. He since took a polygraph test and passed. James had professed his innocence from the beginning. The state attorney says they're going to undo a wrongful conviction of an innocent man. She agrees there was no evidence tying James to the murder.
Now, with that being said, and we're going to get into this. Where are our politicians addressing things like this? See, here's the thing. We keep there's something that has happened that our families are still dealing with today. And this has been done by Joe Biden and the black people, it was the black leaders. And just been selling Negroes down the river by way of some crime bill that then just made it carte blanche to just start throwing football numbers at Negroes about everything. So to sit up here and tell me that anything a Donald Trump can say, one thing I can bank on a newbie is that he's not savvy enough with the law to harm me. But a person who's been there talking about, I don't want my kids going to school with black kids, it would be like a racial jungle in 1977. What on earth would make you vote for that old man in 2020 other than being slave-minded? That is the mind of the oppressed, and you old niggas ain't selling us up the river no more. It is time for y'all to sit your old asses down and look at the damage and harm that you have allowed to happen to your community while you're over there praising Jesus. Miss me, nigga. This is where it's at. You want to know why people ain't fooling with you? How many generations you looking at right there? There's probably, grandchildren, great-grandchildren could be coming around there, right? Well, let's see what was going on right here. All of these people that you didn't give a damn about in 1992, their grandchildren, their children are the ones that you want to see walk through your doors now. Why would they ever let you get around their kids now? So you can corrupt them and throw them away like you did them? You old people need to start looking at some of the things that has happened and how we got here. So what we're trying to do in our generation is turn around that tide. We cannot do that with this old thing that has been going on, and we just gotta do this and we just gotta do that. I'm gonna say this, and I say this with all absolute 100% on my skin. There should be no organization outside of your own community that you are more loyal to. Not one. Some people will have to wrestle with that because of things that they're part of. But you've heard what it is. Be one don't mean, there's also this thing. No, it don't. No, it does not. So if that is something that you cannot carry out, well, you damn sure shouldn't find yourself in front of anybody else that does not have that hang up. What you can do is undergird them and help them. That's a way to still play a part. But see, we have this thing to where, especially with some of these wars, that their whole thing is built for being on the stage. You know, so I'm just imagining we'll see more of this. However, I would like to see some, besides our own grassroots politicians that are trying to get on the mix. If y'all are talking about let's get out and vote, let's get out and vote, let's get out and vote and do this. Hey, how about restorative justice for our community, for all of these people who've been wrongly convicted with life convictions that they were never even guilty of without physical evidence? How did he get sent to life in prison with no physical evidence? Can we go back and look at the procedures of the courts in the 90s so this can be fixed? There's a reason why they don't want us new people talking. Because we talking real. These other people are talking nothing burgers. And now all y'all can see the difference between real and fake.
There was no physical evidence that we could find tying anyone to the crime. To deny that such imperfections can result in an injustice would be a willful blindfulness on our part. It would be turning a blind eye. We can't do that. We must understand that in spite of all the solid, provable criminal cases made every day by police officers and prosecutors across this great nation, we as prosecutors must do all we can to ensure that mistakes do not happen. And when they happen, we have to correct those mistakes.
Thomas James is now being processed. The state attorney's office will hold another press conference, and we will hopefully learn more about what his plans are with his newfound freedom. For now, we're live in downtown Miami. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
With his newfound freedom, sue the pants off the state. What the hell are you talking about? And that crooked ass DA that got him locked up, and whoever his lawyer was, if he had a public pretender, yeah, go after him too. Get that money, player. Oh, goodness. Goodness. I'm trying to bring up this other video real quick. There is I don't know what's wrong with people sometimes. I just don't get it. So this happened.
Я хочу перед всеми извиниться за то видео, которое я разместила 16 апреля, не зная о том, что оно на самом деле означает, и что я могу кого-то огорчить этим. Я разместила видео, где я танцую около памятника. И это видео, которое я разместила, я не хотела, чтобы оно было оскорбительным. Что оно оскорбительно и неуважительно к людям, которые уже умерли. И я не знала, что обозначает памятник, и что это так важно. Очень-очень-очень перед всеми извиняюсь. Если бы я только знала, я бы никогда такое не разместила. Я надеюсь, что меня поймут и простят.
All that for twerking on a monument. Y'all better stop going over there and playing with them people in their countries. And what's so funny about it is she really thought she was American or something, huh? He's like, oh no, you African. What's so crazy though is that, okay, so you took some, I hope people around the world understand there is a humongous segment of Black society that absolutely does not condone the whole public twerking thing. And let's do this over here. Let me twerk. You understand the level of whoredom you're promoting? Every time somebody sees you, it won't be modesty. It'll be your ass. And it's okay to have body. I mean, we all like body. We all like seeing body. But, I mean, ain't there some kind of etiquette? You know, I'm just saying. I expect, I guess everybody is, living their best life. But is it really though? Or is it just Cloutopia? Who knows? But in this next little story, real quick, we go hit. Shout out to Nas Escobar.
Dire consequences for a man here in the Bay Area. KTVU's Rob Roth spoke with him today and joins us live now in the newsroom with his story. Rob.
Jana, the number of unemployment claims continues to overwhelm the Employment Development Department. We met one East Bay man who says those bureaucratic delays have forced him into homelessness.
Gotta love the Biden years, man. Gotta love it.
I don't even know the word for anger. I'm angry.
Sir Mac Jarvis is angry at the Employment Development Department, whose lack of attention to his unemployment claim, he says, has pushed him into homelessness. He's living out of his truck here in West Oakland and works as a day laborer.
Because of me not getting my unemployment, I had to resort to living in my truck, sleeping on the street. My height, I don't. Excuse me. I can't even take showers every day.
Up until last year, Jarvis was an apprentice barber working in East Oakland.
I was doing good. I was breaking in $400 or $500 a week.
Then COVID caused barbershops, beauty salons, and many other businesses to shut down. Jarvis filed for unemployment 14 months ago. He's still waiting for his first check.
First of all, you can't even get through to talk to anybody. They don't answer your emails. I've emailed them, I say, at least 50 times.
Well, the system continues to be overwhelmed.
Mike Burnick is a San Francisco labor lawyer and former head of the EDD.
As long as you have this large number of Californians receiving unemployment insurance, it's very hard to get those call numbers down.
According to the EDD, it fielded more than 3.4 million calls last week, but it answered only about 248,000, about 7%. The EDD has hired thousands of workers and is upgrading its system.
It's very frustrating. It shouldn't be this way, but it does ultimately succeed for most people.
I just want something, something, saying,
No
take
doubt.
the pressure off me, I don't know how much more I could take.
No doubt. I mean, man, that's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. Now, man, and I'm gonna try to get through these videos pretty quickly, so I'm gonna let these run. And then when I get to the missing, to our missing sisters, I'm just gonna play those stories back to back, and we're gonna talk about that after all the videos wrap up. So let's see. I'll play this one next.
Spotlight after a woman says she was evicted even though she was the crime victim. She is fighting to not be put out on the streets.
But as WREG's April Thompson reports, the apartment managers say it's all about safety.
I heard something popping, pop, 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 pop. I thought it was firecrackers.
Dorothy Young is describing the sound outside her Whitehaven apartment around 6 p.m. March 15th. But they were no firecrackers.
And I went and looked out the window. I didn't see anything. So my daughter looked out 5 minutes after me, and she said, Mom, they done shot up your car, and they done shot Man's too. So I was wondering who, what, and why.
Dorothy's 2015 Kia Sportage was riddled with bullets.
One of them was broke on it, like I said, the passenger side, windshield, the back window. There was a bullet hole through it. Bullet hole also at the bottom of the patio door at the house.
She could only think one thing.
What's going on and why me? What's going on and why me? Yes, it was very scary because I had little grandkids in the house with me. One of them could have got hit.
Luckily, no one was hit by the gunfire. But Dorothy Young was in for a surprise when she talked to staff at the apartment office the next day.
She asked me what happened, and I told her. She wondered why they only target our cars. I told her I wanted the same thing.
Dorothy says the apartment managers promised to investigate and get back with her. They did, but it was with this letter of eviction, with the notice saying there were multiple reports of gunfire at her apartment March 15th, resulting in property damage to neighboring units and unauthorized individuals in the unit in direct violation of the lease agreement, which she had 2 days to correct or be evicted. Dorothy admits she allowed her daughter to live at her apartment without her name being on the lease, but says that had not been an issue before, not until this shooting. Then, dated March 17th, there was this hand-delivered eviction notice. Dorothy had to be out in 3 days.
That was wrong. I shouldn't have been. I felt like this. I'm the victim. So why would you tell me to move?
Dorothy says the complex told her she or someone in her family were the targets and had put others in danger. But Dorothy says her daughter and 2 grandchildren live with her, and none of them would have been targets. Now, on a fixed income and in poor health, she is worried about having no place to go.
Very hard because I don't have the funds. I don't have the money.
We went to the leasing office.
I'm April from Channel 3.
We were told the property manager was on vacation, but the office does handle the evictions.
Well, we send over the eviction things over to court and everything, yes, ma'am. So you all would have made the decision on to evict her, not the company. But again, talking about it and everything like that, I'm not at liberty to talk about that. But anyway.
They told us to contact
all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
The Elmington Property Management Company out of Nashville. We left messages and emails, and we're still waiting to hear back. Attorney Derek Renfro specializes in real estate law. He says tenants should always refer to their lease for an understanding of what is and is not allowed.
You have to be fair to everybody. If you got a multi-unit building, you don't want to put tenant A in danger because of tenant Z, who's 13 doors away. Every bullet, every dangerous activity can affect, other innocent people.
But he says everything still has to be proven.
But you do get a court date, and there will be some elements of proof, which could include a police report. It could include some kind of counseling conference with the folks at the main office.
Dorothy says the apartments haven't kept up to their end of the lease. She says there's been other gunfire here and cars have been vandalized at this complex.
I mean, you offered me no type of security when I was, living here. Even when I told you about my truck being vandalized before, we don't have no type of security. The gates is not even locked. So why me? I feel like I'm the victim.
Attorneys say those problems should be addressed early, before eviction.
They've got to organize with other tenants, approach the management in writing. And, if it in person could be construed another way. But I think a good writing, they could consult with a lawyer or get their pastor, maybe. But the lawyer will be the first route.
Right now, Dorothy, with no place to go, is just hoping for some leniency.
I have committed no crime. Nobody in my household have committed a crime.
April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3 investigators.
Now, we can tell you Dorothy Young wants to stay where she is until she has the money to move. She is awaiting a court date on the eviction.
Hoo-wee, how scandalous, man. And see, here's the thing. Again, and that's one of those things where, well, why can't black people just get together and stuff like that? You see how that system was acting? And so y'all gonna be raggedy, and then y'all just gonna do that. Man, that's slumlord mess. That's slumlord mess all together, man. All together. That's crazy. But moving right on along. I'm doing these stories just to let y'all know of what's going on out here that you'll never hear these topics in no space, because this is what knowing about what's going on is. I guess if you look at each other and talk to each other and look at everybody's little profile every day, I guess you'll know what's going on with that individual. But This is what I'm showing you about the world, things that are affecting us. This is where people's attention should be. So just putting that out there again.
The locksmith. Police say the suspect called for help getting into his own home and then just began shooting.
And police say the shooter couldn't even tell them why. Local 10's Andrew Perez is live in Southwest Miami-Dade with more. Incredible story, Andrew.
It's a very bizarre story at that. Still more questions than answers at this point. Molina, as you mentioned, he is a locksmith. That's the victim in all of this who passed away. He was called out to the home to try and open up a door, and that's when the suspect abruptly shot him 5 times in the back.
I got a call. It was a call that I've been waiting for.
It was news of an arrest, one step closer to answers for Linda Taylor and her family.
Anybody that knew my son knows that he was always very outgoing and funny.
The family sharing their pain with us after news broke on Monday. Edwin Boyce Molina gunned down in the street. Police confirming he works as a locksmith and was responding to a call when that caller opened fire. Neighbors hearing several shots outside a home on the corner of Southwest 106th Court and 170th Street. According to the police report, Andre Paul Noel III, only 26 years old, called for a locksmith at his residence. Molina showed up when the suspect suddenly started shooting. Police say he then went through Molina's car. Paul Noel waited for police, who say his behavior was just odd.
He was working and they shot him down. They just left him like a dog there on the street.
The family heartbroken, hearing the suspect couldn't even give police a reason for why he opened fire. Molina's family still has questions as they come to terms with the fact he's not coming home.
Life is so precious. I mean, you have to call your kids, hug them a little bit more each day, you know, and just try to make a difference in their lives.
Meanwhile, the suspect was taken to a hospital for a mental health evaluation and then ultimately charged with second-degree murder, booked into jail. Molina's family's left planning a funeral. They've got family coming in from all over into town for this funeral. The family needs help as well with final expenses. If you'd like to help out, we've got a link with more information on our website, local10.com. That's the latest out here in Miami. I'm Andrew Perez, Local 10 News.
I played that because, again, something I wanted to point out in that story, he didn't understand why he even opened fire. Wonder if he spent the time over there in that Moon Township. Wonder if he spent any time over in Pennsylvania too. I mean, who knows? I mean, just things that grow past people's minds. You know, the ultra mega kinetic type of Alfred Kings and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Sometimes when you have 21 agendas, sometimes it's too much. So, I mean, who knows? Just saying. Here's another.
Sheriff's office with his partner and 2 children. Authorities say a man in North Carolina killed them and set their home on fire before killing himself.
Since they moved in, which was approximately 2 years ago, we've never had a call at their house. We've never had a 911 call from their house. We've never had a deputy respond to their house.
The sheriff of Davie County says 26-year-old Ishad Ewing Meeks shot and killed his partner, 26-year-old Ashton Brown, and their 2 children, 4-year-old Bella and 8-month-old Brix. He says Ewing Meeks was also found dead of a gunshot wound with the gun still in his hand. Authorities said Ewing Meeks and his family turned up at the sheriff's office asking to speak with a deputy, but he was vague about what he wanted to discuss. Surveillance video shows them leaving 4 minutes later. About 20 minutes later, investigators say Brown called 911 saying she wanted to speak with a deputy. A deputy called her back 10 minutes later, and Brown said she had a safety concern.
What do you need to speak with an officer about? I'm just needing to speak with them about a safety reason.
Authorities say the call was disconnected. Just over an hour later, a passerby reported that the house where the family lived was on fire. And when firefighters put out the flames, they discovered the bodies. The sheriff says the investigation continues. A GoFundMe account has been set up seeking help paying for funeral expenses and has already exceeded its goal. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
Two situations that seem to be major holes in these stories. Yeah, dark-skinned brother, something doesn't add up. Two different stories that just are outlying. It almost sounds like, okay, well, what was he going there for? Like, was he looking? It seems like he was feeling like something was going on with him. And then come to find out that, like, this is what's going on. Okay, moving along. This is coming down now. This is where I'm going to start trying to figure out where all of these so-called men don't take care of black women are at. Black men don't protect black women. Black men hate black women. Black men can't love black women. Black women, black women. Yeah, you hate misogyny and misogynoir and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's something that, since you guys are so sister girly camaradish, I would like to see some of this popping up on your timelines. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you gonna put your money where your mouth is? Wait, I'm sorry. Well, how do I say that? Are you gonna put your money where your clout is? Here's a story that Queen Amadaya Shakur has followed, or not followed, well, I'm sure she's following, and she might, I think she was the first one that broke this story, the first one I seen. So with that being said, I started looking a little further, and there's an issue going on in Texas, family, and this ain't looking good. And I can't help but think about that damn group that they just had in Clubhouse days ago, talking about how black women do not need their uteruses. Jeez, family, this ain't good,
Troll
man.
who vanished after leaving a Houston club continues as Fox 26's Gabby Hart speaks with that woman's father one-on-one today. Joining us live from outside the CoverGirls adult nightclub. And Gabby, we understand this was the last place that she was seen.
It is. Felicia Johnson traveled from San Diego to Houston hoping to work here at CoverGirls. We're told that after leaving an audition, she got a ride from a customer that she didn't know. It was the last time anyone saw or heard from this young woman.
You guys, he's so scared.
A brother wondering when his big sister will return home, and a father holding out hope that she's still alive.
Man, I'm just trying to keep myself together. I'm hoping that she's alive.
24-year-old Felicia Johnson was last seen on Friday, April 15th. She was leaving CoverGirl Strip Club on West Little York Road. Her father, Kevin Johnson, says his daughter traveled to Houston to visit family, and she tried to get a job as a dancer at CoverGirls.
These people are young adults, and they just living their life, and nobody's perfect, and sometimes people make mistakes.
After being turned down for the position, she was waiting on an Uber when a customer offered her a ride back to her hotel.
One of their regulars, one of their VIPs.
When no one heard from Felicia Friday night, they became worried. On Saturday morning, they tracked her phone to Bear Creek Park, 4 miles from the strip club where she was last seen. It was found on the side of the road, covered in blood.
I'm running off of pure faith and just not giving up on her, that we're gonna get her back.
Texas EcuSearch scoured the park searching for Felicia with no luck. Her father flew in from San Diego to assist, but he says he believes she's still out there, alive and in danger.
I think she got caught up in one of those sex trafficking, human trafficking situations where they are snatching up these out-of-town girls and putting them to work. That's what I think happened to her. And I don't have any proof, but I feel in my heart that that strip club has something to do with it.
We reached out to CoverGirl Strip Club for a comment. I was told the owners never come into the establishment and there was no way for us to speak with them. They also said the manager doesn't take phone calls. Felicia's father has hired a private investigator, and he says he's not stopping until he brings his daughter home.
I'm gonna be here as long as I can, and just in hopes that something positive comes out of this.
Now, we did learn that the FBI is investigating and looking into her disappearance. Police also searching through surveillance footage, but as of right now, there's no information as far as a suspect. Of course, as soon as we learn more, we'll let you know. For now, I'm reporting live. Gabby Hart, Fox 26 News.
Gabby, thanks.
Okay. That is one. Here's another.
20-year-old woman who has now been missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, she was last seen outside of an apartment complex along Chimney Rock. A news conference with family members just wrapping up a short time ago. Rochelle Turner was there and joins us with the very latest. Rochelle?
Jonathan Sion, community activist Quanell X just wrapped up that press conference here about 30 minutes ago, and he believes the young woman you're about to see, Sharteria Watts, was kidnapped from this apartment complex. She's been missing since July 25th, and that's the day that she was celebrating her 20th birthday. She went out with 2 other friends, but she went to a nightclub, and Quanell X says they met a guy who wanted them to come back to this apartment complex. Friends told Watts' family that they dropped her off at this apartment complex before going to a store to buy some makeup. When they returned to the apartment complex, they could not find or call Sharteria. The trio was already out celebrating her 20th birthday that night at a club. The friend called her cell phone multiple times, and at some point, the calls went directly to voicemail. Community activist Quanell X believes Sharteria was met with foul play, and the man she and her friends met at the club was no good.
What we do know, and this is not to disparage anyone, but the young girls had been dancing at a nightclub, and they thought that they would want to come here and perhaps make a few extra dollars. It was a trick. It was a setup. They came and only one went in, but the plan, we believe, was for all 3 to go into that vacant apartment at this particular property.
And the family did file a police report. The friends filed a police report the day she went missing on July 25th. And we do want to point out that Sharteria was a student at Prairie View A&M University, and her uncle and cousin were here at the press conference. They said this is just not like her to just do something like this. So they are asking for the community's help. We're going to have much more on this story coming up tonight at 10. For now, reporting live in Southwest Houston, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.
Rochelle, thank you for that update.
Okay, real quick. Both of those have to do with a strip club. Now, they're not implementing the same strip club in this conversation. Another thing to point out about this particular case, and I don't know why the hell the feds are not involved, because you have a whole scheme to kidnap 3 women because they told you that the apartment was an abandoned apartment. So that was a whole trick 'em and snatch 'em type of move right there. So there's something going on down there in Texas, family. There's more.
I want Sheena back. I want her back every single day.
A family crying out for help more than a month after their loved one disappeared. Police say Deshina Kyle may be in danger, and they're asking again for the public's help. 10 News reporter Malik Jackson spoke with her family again, more than a month.
And here's a quick timeline of events. June 18th, the last verified sighting of Deshina Kyle. June 23rd, a possible sighting of Miss Kyle. June 28th, the day she was officially reported missing. Today, July 30th, her family sat down with detectives more than a month after she disappeared, pleading for answers on where their loved one might be.
We begging y'all, please help us with this. We can't do it by ourselves. If you know where she is or know what happened to her, please let us know.
Dashina Kyle's grandmother says she still feels her absence every day.
This has taken everything in me out of me. I mean, as I summed it up before, my soul feel like it's damaged.
She misses everything about Dashina Kyle and wishes they could do more.
I look at her pictures and I just feel helpless because I can't do anything. I feel like I should be doing something.
She joins the police and asks for help from anyone who knows what happened.
We're begging for help from the public. If you saw anything, we know that somebody saw something. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something.
Simply wanting her home.
She's my heart. She knows there's nothing that she would be able to call me and ask me for that I would not do for her.
In Knoxville, Malik Jackson.
More than 5 units within the Knoxville Police Department are working this case, including the Major Crimes Unit. If you do have a tip, police want to hear from you. You can reach out to the East Tennessee Valley Crime Stoppers as well and remain anonymous.
Reason why I played that one, of course, not being Texas, but one of the reasons why I wanted to play that is because anybody who knows about the South, a lot of people will be traveling cross country. You know, I know my dad tends to drive through there. A lot of people do from Texas, driving straight on through. Tennessee is another kind of hub in the South of pimping and hoeing. But I can't help but look at all the ages of these women are right around these healthy uterus ages. Just can't get over that. It's just too much of a freaking coincidence that all of these women who are clear, because okay, here's the thing, they're stripping. So you can see they pretty much in decent health. They taking them chicks straight over there, and I mean, maybe they are working. However, I would have to think that the hottest commodity right now would be the black woman's uterus. Why are they trying so hard to keep black women from reproducing? Go over there and stub your toe. They telling you at the doctor you got to have a hysterectomy. You understand what I'm saying? That's the type of devil we playing with out here, man. And they ain't playing. Here's another.
I'm Caitlin Monty, and we begin with a Fox 26 exclusive of a shocking phone call that a family received after their teen daughter went missing in Houston 9 days ago. As part of our ongoing Fox 26 series, The Missing, we are looking for Houstonians who can help this mother and father who spoke to me just hours ago as they were out searching the streets near Trinity Gardens in North Houston.
I am texting her every day saying, I love you, and I'm not giving up on looking for you.
Sunday, April 3rd, 19-year-old Aisha Bethune came home from a shift at Whataburger.
And I say, babe, I'm finna go wash clothes. And she asked me, did I have her work pants and stuff like that. So she told me she had an appointment at 4:30 that evening to go to a shop, which is off of 523 North Houston Sandway Parkway. And she said appointment was at 4:30, so I left her the money to go there. I said, okay, baby, just give me a call if you need anything.
She never came back to the house and never answered his texts or calls.
I called and told her mom, I'm like, Asia ain't came home. And, you know, Teresa told me that she had talked to her around 5:40.
What was that conversation?
Well, like usual, we like to have fun and laugh. And she said, Mom, I need some gas. So I was like, okay. And I cashed up her $40 and We talked for a minute more because she was saying, "Oh, this gas is so high, girl. I'm gonna need a bicycle." So we laughed, and then I told her, I said, "Well, I gotta get off the phone because I gotta get ready for work." And so I got off the phone with her, but I heard the gas tank when it hit her tank, so I know she started getting gas.
After visiting that gas station along Greenspoint Drive right off the Sam Houston Tollway, Aisha never called. Mom at first assumed perhaps she was busy chatting with friends.
I sent her our usual text, which is, "Good morning, love muffin. I love you. Have a great day."
Nothing about your conversation suggested that she was doing anything out of the ordinary.
No, ma'am. It was just a general conversation like we always have.
But it was the last conversation that anyone appears to have had with her. They've been trying to reach her since, and then got a call from her number from a man.
Hey, dog, check it out. You can with my family, I can one too. So you want to come that way, you may pick your battle, bro. Don't play with me, dog. Find somebody to play with. I ain't the one. And you better leave her alone before I pop your time, bitch. Peace. Love y'all.
The family told me they have since received a tip from a truck stop near Trinity Gardens with a man claiming that he spotted Aisha's car and then her walking with a man. And when I spoke with them, again, they were driving the area looking for her, looking for the car, and they are now looking for any help they can get from the community in searching for her. Again, here's the information. We have these full details and her full story on fox26houston.com with an update coming tonight on The News Edge at 10 with more from our interview today.
And you would think as many as I play that I'd be done. But no. Got one more. We got one more.
20-year-old Jada Govan. And the last time anyone saw her was more than 4 days ago. She was at her apartment in Arlington. Family members say she lives with her mother, who saw her leave early Sunday morning, but Jada never came back. WFAA's Rebecca Lopez sat down with Jada's desperately worried family.
Then I do these up here.
Jada Govan's family is frantically looking for her. She was last seen on Sunday at the residence at Arbor Grove in Arlington, where she shared an apartment with her mother. Her family said she had gone to get breakfast early in the morning, came back home, then left again with only her phone.
She didn't have her card on her, ID, everything, purse was left, just phone, and that was it, just her phone. So we haven't heard anything since.
Her family says she typically walks out this back door to her vehicle parked about 100 feet away in this parking lot. They don't know if she encountered someone in that lot. Her Dodge Caliber is gone. This is the license plate, RDY 5600. Unfortunately, there is no surveillance footage from the complex because the cameras weren't working.
It's real difficult. We really have no idea. So we're definitely trying to figure out, put our heads and wrap around what's going on, because it's definitely difficult times. So we just want her home.
Jada's phone last pinged in this area at a cell phone tower near Park Row and Center, and her family says this is the last known location. After that, her phone went dead. A Search One rescue team used cadaver dogs and searched this wooded area, but didn't find anything. Her family says the location service on her phone was turned off. They say Jada is only 20 years old and is extremely shy, keeping to herself. They say she isn't really on social media, and she would never go anywhere without letting her mother know.
She's real reserved and shy, so she'll definitely be frightened. I'm sure she's scared.
The family is offering a $5,000 reward, and Arlington Police is asking the public to call them with any information. In Arlington, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
I mean, So I think it is about time to address that situation, don't you think? Gas station, Tia, to you, where is the gas station video? Because, I find that pretty weird that there is no gas station video. There is no, there is no like traffic lights and all of that. I thought they had stuff like that out there. The cameras on the police, like the police things, do they not have them in Texas? Maybe they don't. I thought they would have had them in Houston. Family, I'm getting, let me ask a quick the detour. I keep getting a inbox. You know how here's the thing that I'm always leery about. You accept somebody's request and then they immediately hit you in the inbox. So right now I'm being hit up about this cat that says, now he's hitting me in my DMs saying that he can't get into his account. So he's going to send me a help link to help him sign into his account. Oh boy, Lord. But anyway, are you going to help? You need me to tap a link? Guess you asked out. So, I mean, like, and this ain't no cat I fool with like that. So, I mean, get out of here, man. I don't know you to be hitting nothing. Like, dude, didn't I just tell you I was lying? You over? Will you help me, please? That's a scam. So, let's see. Where do we go? Oh, so one little tasty tidbit before we hit the road. Because there's been a lot of controversy, and I think because a lot of people have not even just, history and a lot of these things that we're talking about and have been talking about for some time is brand new to a lot of people. So with that being said, where is that at? Here's some understanding and clarification of what Native Americans are. Matter of fact, let me first do this. Because, we have these people who, hey man, so I've never heard of indigenous black Americans before. What's the foundational black American and blah, blah, blah. Well, for those of you who don't know, I hail from one of those lines that actually ran out of Boston before the inception of the country. So those people who ended up getting reclassified, because at one point in time, they had people change their classification, and in this piece that I'll play for you, it's going to tell you Negro or African American, which there was no such thing at the time. They actually had them change it to colored or Negro, and I believe it was first colored, or it might have been Negro, because there was like a time when those two were different definitions. So let me do this real quick. You know what I haven't played? I have not played the KB Zilla interlude in a minute. So I'm going to play that real quick, and then we're going to get to this last little video.
It's good memorized, but it's that funky side to it. You can bob your hands, you can stomp your feet, you can smile at everyone you see on the streets, cause this is easy. It's Beatzilla, baby. It's a new year. We got the music back. In the street, they say you don't want to hear this. You better go and tell them.
All right. So check this out. I don't know how many of y'all knew this.
Then there were people who knew the game, had long since become familiar with the game that was being played. The Narragansett families who wished to remain traditionally as their ancestors had been, made sure there was the teaching. Go out there and learn all that you can from these people. But never forget who you are. Never forget you have your own language, your own religion, and your own way of acceptance.
In Rhode Island, some citizens who did not own property had to wait until 1928 before they were granted voting rights. But 3 groups were still officially barred by state law from casting a ballot: paupers, the mentally incompetent, and Indians. The only way the Narragansetts could participate in elections was by identifying themselves as African Americans. Charles Ernest Hazard confronted a
There was no such thing as African Americans at that time, so that is false. They would not have been classified as African Americans because the term did not exist.
officials who enforced this practice. His brother, Joseph, one of the oldest members of the Narragansett Nation, recalls the moment.
Indians couldn't vote, so he went up to the State House and he says, it's on the charter that the Indians can't vote. And he says, you're voting, ain't you? And he says, no. He says, I consider myself a Narragansett Indian. If I vote, I'm voting under Negroes could vote, but not an Indian. And he said, I consider myself a Narragansett, not a black, so I'd like to have that changed. So they did.
In
So for those who don't know, see, because they did not want to identify as black, because see, once you got your ass whooped and these folks took the system of white supremacy was putting itself in place, then they laid out the designations of the different people of how they wanted to. And how we are looking at a lot of things right now is pretty much based off of that. It's unfortunate, but that's the case. So we right now are sitting in a position where we have to come back to owning our own identity. We're doing that as foundational Black Americans. Another thing that we are is, see, they stripped us from where we came from. So again, we can't remember per se. However, we can, I guess, tap into one's inner self if you were quiet enough to hear it. And with that, kind of tap into what's in your DNA. See, they can't take all of it. They would have to get rid of you. We all have things passed down through DNA. That ain't leaving. That's probably another reason for this whole non-binary talk and all of this, because then it's going to be like lineage, and you don't have to worry about lineage, but here's the whole point of why we got ahead of that. Got to know your enemy. And I hope I do a great job here of teaching you how they operate, teaching you the different mechanisms of what they will employ against us, all the different tactics they will use against us. And right now, there is a problem going on in Texas that needs to be looked at by the federal government, to be quite honest, because that many women in that sort of time is clearly an epidemic. And you have patterns. We shouldn't be looking at it from outside as spectators and the feds not get involved. If we have people in prison over PPP loans, why the hell aren't you investing in finding these Black women? I played, 6 missing Black sisters. Only one of them is from out of the state of Texas. All the rest of them in Texas, mostly in Houston. All of the women around uterus, healthy childbearing years. And just days ago, you have a clubhouse space or a clubhouse room that is literally titled, Black Women Do Not Need Their Uteruses. They should donate them to trans women. That doesn't even make sense. Donate your sexual or your reproductive, or that's not your sexual organ, that's your reproductive organs, part of your makeup, what you were born with when you were before you were born, you were conceived, and they were forming while you were forming. We are beings who can reproduce and recreate other beings. That tells you that anything that we are conceiving or at the point of conception is alive. Anyone who is telling you different is lying. Science does not prove it is not alive. They had to use their science of lies to convince you to be the number one perpetrator of your own genocide. Let's cut that out. Let's cut out this ilmatic behavior that has people thinking that it is cool to be doing immature, childlike, middle school, high school antics over the age of 40 online in front of the world. There's some gifts and curses with exposure. One of them being, when you truly lack integrity, it'll only be a matter of time before that is revealed. And the other part of that is everyone who already knows what you are gets a chance to observe everybody who's around you that is not quick-witted enough to have the discernment to distance themselves from you. I don't have to make a judgment about anybody at that point. I've seen it. But you know, it reminds me of something. It reminds me of one of those movies. I can't remember what it was. And everybody was following this one particular individual because they thought they were so, wise and intellectual and deep. And as they were following this person, two men in white show up and say, "Hey, there you are. Get back here." Because this was an escaped mental patient. So sometimes even escaped mental patients can make you think that they are on the level. Kind of a good job of being insane. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, be mindful of all of these different antics that's going to be coming our way for these damn Democrats. They want us to stay on the plantation, want us to continue to vote Democrat, but not only that. It's not necessarily Democrat. They want us to vote white supremacy. So whether it's this candidate that they produced or it's that candidate that they produced, they just want to make sure that we always vote for white supremacy, and that is what we have to and must end. That practice has to die immediately. We cannot continue to let it go on. And, with that being said, family, this has been the weekly, not the weekly, but the midweek report. And I hope y'all understand, when the truth is in front of your face, grab it. Because there are people who hate the truth. And they are the people to whom I refer to as the 2/3 Club volunteers. Yes, indeed. So with that being said, family, Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? So, you said what they want is to vote blue, not Marcel Dixon. Thank you. And that just brings me back to my point. Before I go, we're going to do this one more time. Shout out to Marcel Dixon. And we're going to run this ad right before we get on out of here because that's what we do around here. Denise Soul, hey, my sister.
What you are looking at is a monument to Wade Hampton. Wade Hampton was one of the largest enslavers in the state of South Carolina, which was one of the largest slave-holding states. And yet, here on the Capitol grounds, there is a monument to him. If South Carolina wants to recognize and remember this period of history, then it is incumbent upon South Carolina and the United States as a whole to repair the damage that has come from this period in history. At the end of the Civil War, Black Americans who are descendants of American slaves, legislatively called freemen, were supposed to receive their 40 acres in a mule, but that never happened. Instead, they saw their black Wall Streets burnt to the ground. They experienced Jim Crow, they experienced redlining, which robbed them of billions in dollars of wealth. In order for America to heal, Black America has to be repaired. I am running to repair Black America because until we all stand, we all have fallen.
So, with that being said, family, shout out to Brother Marcel Dixon and his campaign. The other sister, Tamara, I think it's Pearson. Tamara Pearson. She's running in Georgia for Raphael Warnock's seat. So she's running against him and Herschel Walker. And again, the point is the shakeup. I know Yvette Carnell, has her own view. I don't know if she would necessarily feel that way if she had more to do with what's happened. I would imagine so, of course. But, it is what it is. That's, again, what we have spoken about tonight. Because, again, we have this, the Cloutintelpro Era. And what fuels that is Cloutopia. It is just the that they get when someone is listening to them. Sometimes I may even be using my own talking points. But when someone is listening to them, and then also don't forget, we have fraudulent people out here with trying to make reparations claims, and now they are blatantly saying, well, not to mention, that tweet has since been removed. So, yeah, you can't be lost solidarity with Black and not have any reparations for us, too. Yo, no, bro. It don't work like that. There are reservations and casinos all off up in Arizona. You could miss me. And then, I guess if you're talking about dementia, there ain't no black and brown. So, that's out. So, what next? It's a lineage thing, and you're trying to get something else going. It's a lineage thing, and you got a whole reparations council that ain't got nothing to do with slavery. Not a one of them have anything to do with slavery. So what are you giving reparations for? Is that climate justice reparations crap that I keep hearing about? That's just freaking stupid. But anyway, y'all can follow me on Instagram, beatzillapdx. You can follow me on Twitter, beatzillapdx, and on Facebook, beatzillapdx. Yeah, I guess I'm still something right there. And on Patreon, beatzillapdx official, and on Melanated People, Michael Beatzilla Whitmore. And then, of course, you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That is ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, also the donation apps are in the ticker, but you could definitely put some money in the bucket by way of donation at CashApp $beatzillapdx. That is CashApp $beatzillapdx. And of course, we also have PayPal, which you can hit that, and that is Zilla Music. That is ZILLAMUZAK. And with that being said, family, we will be back here. Look for the notification for tomorrow night. That'll be kind of that'll be like a live board meeting, kind of a collective, collaborative effort. We'll be getting into that tomorrow night with Brother Afro Elite and a few others. I believe Black Alpha Cash will be there. Nino Black, Kid Gravity should be there. Torian Rain should be there. So it should be pretty dope, and a few others. So make sure you stay tuned into the notifications here to find out where that's going to be, because I'll post it in my community tab when I have the solid info. So up until then, you know how we do around here. And again, avoid Cloutopia. Avoid the Cloutopia. Man. Mount Cloutopia. Oh, Lordy me. So with that being said, y'all know how we do around here. We always slang the stone of truth. And because it needs to be. This is the season of truth. We've been in centuries of control of a lying generation. Let that truth be the end of that lie. With that being said, shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir, you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yes. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.